when I was in college, I had the good fortune of working at a couple nice restaurants that were, you could make some real good cash and walk out of there on a good busy night with 150 bucks in your hand. Which is real nice money when you're in college. Yeah, so one night this guy comes in, wants to sit in the back, and he faces the wall. Nothing terribly unusual, got himself a glass of wine. And so he leaves, and I notice that he's left behind like this black leather-bound little book, And so I'm like, oh, this is strange. This looks like something. So I open it up, and I'm flipping through it, and I see on every page there's a biography of a woman, and her picture in the top. And it would say like such and such, her age and the city she was from, and some info about her. Have 2 kids and enjoys scary movies and stuff like just weird stuff like that. So I'm flipping through the book and flipping through page and page and page, and pretty soon I see my friend's mom on one of the pages, and she's married to my friend's dad. So it was a trippy thing, and the whole thing definitely intrigued me. So I didn't know quite what to do with it. It was getting late in the night, and so I stashed it in the bread station right next to these rosemary sea salt rolls, and I proceeded to get on with my duty. So pretty soon the restaurant's closed for the night. It's just me and the manager. I'm clearing out the remaining bread, and I know I got to make a decision regarding this book here. So I think about it, and I think I got to show this to my buddy whose mom is on here, and just the whole thing interests me anyway. So I go back to the locker room and I shove it in my locker. Close the locker. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I'll be out of here in 20 minutes. I'll just grab. I walk back out there, and sure enough, like 5 minutes later, I hear bang, 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 bang on the front door, and I know it's who it is. And this guy comes in there, and he's frantically, oh my God, da 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 da, telling the whole situation to my manager, who knows nothing about it. And so I'm like, oh, this is lovely, the position that I'm in. So after hearing the story, my manager turns to me, okay, well, did you see the books, guy? I'm like, no, let's check the linen basket. It must be in the linen basket. So we pointlessly go to this linen basket, and I kind of shuffle through it, and gosh, I still don't know what's going on. So, I'm not panicking, but, it's not the greatest spot for me to be in. My manager's tripping, because he has a unresolved issue on his hands. The dude is super tripping. So we're all just kind of staring at each other for a minute, thinking of what to do next. And my manager says, well, then it has to be in the dumpster. And the guy goes, oh, then we got to go there. So pretty soon we're on our way to the dumpster, and the 3 of us, we're making our way through the kitchen there. And as luck would have it, the phone rings in the manager's office, and the manager peels off to answer the phone real quick. And so I'm kind of thinking on my feet here, and I say, wait a minute, I got to change my shoes first. Let me go in the locker room if you're going to make me get into that dumpster. So I go in the locker room where, I do not have another pair of shoes waiting for me, but I open up the locker and grab the book real quick and put it in my waistband. So I'm standing there on the edge of the dumpster, and mind you, this guy has been a real a-hole the whole time, belittling, just the whole bit, somebody you just don't want to help. And it's turned into a really bizarre situation. So I say to him, listen, I'm about to get into this filthy dumpster for you, man. I'll do my best to find your book, which is actually in my waistband. But I say to him, you think you can make it worth my while a little bit, So he whips out his wallet and gives me 20 bucks, and I was in kind of a funny mood, so I said, to hell with it. And so, I was thinking a little more like 50 bucks. So he goes, oh my God, and reaches into his wallet and grabs a couple more 20s, so comes up with 60 bucks altogether. So I hop in there and duck down so as to remove myself from, his vision, and I pop the book out of my waistband, and I open it up, and I kind of, just to make it look authentic, as if it had been through this whole ride, I smeared it around in some sauces and some meatballs and some vinegar and all this, that, and the other thing. And then a couple minutes later, I thrust my hand up there and say, is this it? He's like, oh my God, yes. And he just grabs it, just takes off. So I get out of the dumpster and towel myself off. It's a pretty wild night.